Season 7 is the worst season of the show.
There were a few comments on my previous video about how my take on Season 7 was a little spicy, so I put up a poll on my community tab asking what season everyone hated the most. I only included the main 3 seasons that are considered the worst by most of the community. I get why people don't like Crystallize, but I'm gonna give you another hot take. I think Secrets of Forbidden Spijitzu is one of my favourite seasons. That could probably be another video. Comment if you want to see that. But Hands of Time was voted the worst one, so I thought it would be time to make a video explaining why I dislike this garbage season so much. These are all my opinions, by the way. I'm not trying to push my opinion as fact. This is just what I think. The season starts with this mysterious figure coming out of this colourful vortex, with Sensei Wu confronting him. To the season's credit, I will say now that the visuals are an improvement over the seasons prior. We cut to the ninja as they clean up the museum after Day of the Departed. This does bug me, as Day of the Departed isn't publicly available, so without a recap, newer viewers wouldn't have much idea what's going on. The season is even more jarring as we pan to Cole, who is back to his normal self. There is a short comment about what happened in Day of the Departed, but it would be much better off with a recap or a flashback. I'm done talking about this, so let's move on. Kai and Nia find a painting of their parents and have a weird exchange about stuff we already know.
Father was the elemental master of fire. Mother was the master of water.
And they left us the old blacksmith shop. And little else.
The ninja then find a painting of Wu and Garmadon battling 2 foes who are known as the Hands of Time. We then cut back to Wu and the strange man fighting each other, and this is actually a really good fight. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that this Vortex man is a Chronix from the painting that was shown in the scene before this one. Then the MacGuffin for the season drops from the sky. This is a time blade. It can make time skip ahead. Kind of like King Crimson. Am I right, my JoJo heads?
6 p.m. Quitting time.
A Chronix strikes Wu with the time punch, which forces Wu to age rapidly. This line made me laugh.
You know what they say, if the time punch doesn't get you, the fall will. Actually, no one says that, but they should.
Also, Jay has a pretty cool moment.
That's odd, because judging by all the slash marks around here, I think you have.
Sometimes I wish I was still Samurai X instead of a ninja.
Really, Nia? Do you really? Later seasons would say otherwise. The ninja failed to stop a Chronix from getting away, but they do save Wu from falling to his death, so I guess that's a win. Then, a shocking reveal. Dr. Saunders was Crux the whole time. What? That's where the first episode ends, and I think this is the best episode of the season. It's only downhill from here. Time to complain about the season's theme song. The song itself is pretty good, but what comes with it is a little bit poopy. The characters just stay still, and I get it's meant to reflect time being stopped, but surely there was something better they could do. Maybe have the characters move or do something, then have them be affected by one of the time blades. I don't know, it just feels a little lazy if you ask me. Wu explains to the ninja who Crux and Chronix are with a flashback. This brings me to my favourite part of the season, the flashbacks. There are a few in the season, and it's still cool to see the characters' ancestors and young Wu and Garmadon. The flashback has this sick fight with Wu and Garmadon against the Time Twins, but instead of actually using their time powers, they decide to shoot beams from their hands. Are they shooting beams of time or... this season, man. And how did Wu and Garmadon know how to make a time vortex? And how did Wu know a Chronix would be coming back at this exact time? What? This is what I mean! Nothing gets explained. The ninjas see a disturbance at the Ninjago equivalent of an Apple store, so they go to stop the threat. They decide, since there's only one guy to fight, they'll take turns fighting it, which I think is an entertaining moment. Dareth also talks with his mouth closed, obviously practicing his ventriloquism.
You guys got this? Good.
We are then introduced to Vermilion Warriors, the henchmen of the season. They start off super strong and intimidating, but of course, they become punching bags later on. As the fight continues, Zane saves Cyrus Borg, but he gets taken out by a mysterious figure who's definitely not a Chronix. Ooh. Nia, Jay, and Cole take Zane to Nia's Samurai X cave to revive him.
We lost the connection.
And Zane!
No, he's just as dead as he was before. Kai goes to the museum to look into the helmet that they got from the Vermilion Warriors. And this is the scene I always talk about, with Kai fighting a Chronix and Crux, with Nia there as well, and it also has the worst lines in the show.
I could really use a hand, brother!
I'm here for you, sister!
Too late! They're gone! And so is Borg!
Vanished. Before our eyes.
Kai is also very easy to manipulate. He says, "My parents beat you." Then Crux says, "Nuh-uh." And now Kai doesn't know who to believe. Kai is not normally this dumb. I don't know why they're writing him like this. Why do they keep punching them? Shoot fire or something. Acronix gets away again with Borg. And Zane is,
4, 7, 2, 1.
not doing great. Nia manages to get Zane awake, but now he's spitting nonsense.
Potato was a flange. 41, 823. A narwhal horn is to red as weather is greater than pudding.
The Vermilion warriors begin stealing all the metal they can find for their secret evil plan. Scary. Let's talk about the main villains real quick. I think the Time Twins have potential to be decent characters and better villains, but I believe they were being held back by the writing in this season. I do like how Acronix likes the new world he's in, embracing technology while Crux despises it. But that seems to be the only characteristics they have. Their evil plan seems a little undercooked as well, but I'll get a bit into that later. I just can't help but think that every villain after and before this was better.
No! They failed! And we haven't collected nearly enough metal yet.
What do you mean they failed? Metal pipes just fell on the road. Wait a minute. Then the episode ends and Zane is speaking normally again. So episode 4 starts with the snakes collecting metal, then ends with them collecting metal? That was pretty much a filler episode. The only thing that had somewhat importance is Zane coming back online. The next episode starts with the team stopping the Vermilion warriors from stealing more metal and hurting people. Kind of like the last episode didn't need to happen. Kai notices a familiar symbol inside one of the helmets used by the snakes. Jay goes to his parents' junkyard since there's a lot of metal there. Acronix wants to fuck a snake. And another time blade shows up. This one can slow down time. Ooh, fancy. I love Jay's parents. I wish we saw more of them. They're just so charming. The ninja and the Vermilion race to collect the time blade. The ninja actually recover the time blade and escape with it, which is what the Vermilion should have done, but they decided to stop and play around with it. While messing around with the time blade, the ninja are attacked by the Time Twins and the Vermilion. They fend off the waves of Vermilion, but Lloyd decides to go down to the surface with his dragon. He gets scared, and now he's falling to his death. That's until Samurai X shows up, but Nia is still with the ninja, so now there's a mysterious Samurai X running around. Throughout the season, Nia believes that the Vermilion took her Samurai X suit when they were stealing all the metal, but she is mistaken. Do you want to see some goofy animation? Instead of retreating with the time blade, which the ninja need to keep from the Time Twins, they decide to use it to fight them. I've noticed that the ninja don't use their elemental powers much in any of the fights. They just use their plain weapons. Of course, the Time Twins take back the time blade, and just to flex, they kidnap Wu as well. Sorry, ninja. Also, Kai figures out where the marking on the helmet comes from. Oh boy, a lot happens in this part. Cole, Jay, and Zane head to the museum to search for clues on Crux and Acronix. Kai heads to his father's blacksmith from the pilot episode to investigate the symbol on the helmets. Nia goes to the Samurai X cave and encounters the new Samurai X. Kai finds a double-ended sword in a secret room in his blacksmith. Lloyd's team finds the tunnel system which leads to the villain's evil lair. Samurai X refuses to reveal themselves, but they say this.
I hide my identity to protect the innocent. My friends and allies would be at risk if my enemies knew who I really was.
Which doesn't really make any sense because, spoilers, it's Pixel. I don't know why she wanted to keep it a secret, but that's what's happening. Team Sewer finds the secret hideout, and it's revealed that Kai and Nia's parents are alive. Dun dun dun! The ninja sneak into the hideout to save the people the Vermilion took, save Sensei Wu and Cyrus Borg, as well as stopping Crux and Acronix. Karloff is also there. Since they took metal, they decided they should take the Elemental Master of Metal. That's a neat little cameo. Jay and Cole need to use air jitsu to save the people, but that plan won't work, apparently, because Karloff is too heavy. If only there were a ninja with super strength to lift Karloff instead of Jay. Kai finds his father and is thrown into a rage, engaging in combat with him. I get he thinks Ray is a traitor and all, but I think this is where Kai should have finally believed Crux instead of the museum. He could have had a whole arc about him kind of believing him but not really being sure, but having hope that his father would never do that. And at this moment, he would have snapped, finally believing he's a traitor. Oh well, I guess we have to do this plot then. Oh, and also the third time blade shows up, being able to pause time. Hang on. Let's talk about the morbid concept of slowly decaying. This is Wu now. This is Wu 40 years ago. This is Crux now. This is Crux 40 years ago. This is Ray now. And this is Ray 40 years ago. He aged like fine wine. The last time blade the Time Twins need is guarded in a tomb, with the elemental masters of fire and water being the only ones who can get it. And as motivation, the blade they need to get can reverse Wu's aging, so they are stuck between a rock and a hard place. To get there, they make a fusion dragon using the blade Kai found. It looks kind of cool, I guess. The other ninja finds Cyrus Borg, who has been building a time machine, huh? Yes, the plot of the season is the Time Twins want to go back in time to get revenge on the other elemental masters and rule Ninjago. And yes, I don't like this plot. It just feels so boring and underwhelming to me, like all this setup for 40 years by Crux, and all this time and effort to get the time blades and fight off the ninja, just to go back in time to get revenge. They can time travel! Why not go further back in time and stop the elemental masters from meeting, or something like that? This season, man. The ninja fight the Vermilion warriors for the millionth time, and Samurai X shows up to help. Kai and Nia make it through the tomb quite easily and retrieve the time blade. Ray also gets hit with the time punch. The Time Twins start up the machine and whoop, there they go. Kai, Nia, and Wu follow them. Okay, the Iron Doom arriving is actually really cool and intimidating. It's also really entertaining to watch the past elemental masters. I don't know why. But then we go back to dumb shit when the twins betray Commander Markia. Why would they do that? She literally did nothing wrong. She's probably the only reason why they were successful in their plans in the first place. The twins start to change the future, but Kai and Nia have a plan to stop them, but the Time Twins time travel again. All hope is lost. Until Wu shows up healthy and Nia with the reversal blade. Time is reversed, but this time they follow the twins into the vortex. They all battle once again in the Iron Doom, and Wu sends Kai and Nia back to the present with the reversal blade to cure Ray of his aging. Wu is left on board the Iron Doom, hurling through time. I did find myself really enjoying this episode. I think it had superior writing than the rest of the season. Overall, my opinions on the season haven't changed. I still think it's the worst season of the show. I believe what makes this show special is the characters, and this season writes the characters different enough where they feel like different people. I think the plot is very bare bones and simple for a time travel plot. It's very predictable, and I think a lot of crazy things could have happened, but nothing happens. The villains were charming at times, but they were overall boring enough where I didn't really care about them. The animation looked very janky and just downright bad at times, but at least the art style looked pretty nice. There were some moments I liked, but it wasn't really enough to change the way I view the season. I just wanted to thank everyone again for subbing and viewing. I appreciate it, and I just want to know what seasons will you want me to talk about. I like making this video, and I'd like to talk about seasons in depth like this again. Now I never have to watch this season again. Ho ho!